All right, you're on the cloud. I'm going to try and hold extremely still. For some reason, we can't get rid of this cinematic framing bit on Zoom. Maybe we'll be able to figure that out at some point. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. I also have a new Zoom screen, so I can't see who's here. Oh, there it is. Now I found it. Okay. And today we're going to talk about listings, right? And so there's not going to be a lot of new material here today. It's going to be more reminder material with a little bit of a tweak at the end based on a listing appointment that I just went on. And I kind of thought, boy, I should bring that up in a meeting. But the reason that we're going to talk about listings is and when I say we, I mean Brendan, myself, and then a whole bunch of people that are a lot smarter than both of us think and are seeing that there's going to be a lot more listing activity in 2026 than there has been for at least the past couple of years. That is kind of starting to manifest already in my book. I know it is in Brendan's book as well. And then talking to some other really, really smart folk for a lot of good reasons. We think there's going to be a greater opportunity to process listings this year. And we really, 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 really want you guys to be able to capture some of that or more of that and take advantage of that at a higher level than we have been historically. Historically, our company is about 50-50 listings and buyers. That's just how the things the math works out. Um, we don't want to lose business, but we'd really like to be able to see that be more like 80% listing, 20% buyer, right? And there's a lot of reasons for that. And there's a lot of reasons that you as an agent want to focus on that. Remember the old saying, listers last, and that's absolutely true. So we're going to talk about it a little bit, talk about how I think you should process them a little bit, talk about what I think sellers want a little bit, talk about why the program's important, and then we're going to shift gears at the end, and we're going to talk about the listings that maybe don't fall under the I'm just going to call it the Damian program, okay? Because I can't think of anything else. Fall under the Damian program. So, Brendan, I see that you're here, looking sharp as ever.
Thank you, sir.
If you have anything to add, just jump in and say shut up and start talking, because I'm going to get going, and there's not going to be a lot to stop me unless you just jump in and say it. So,
Okay. Okay.
uh,
Very good.
please have the green light to do that. All right. Let me start by saying this, and this is that I think 95% of listings fall into this category. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. There is a video in your O1 New Agent Docs folder in Google Drive where you can watch me talk about it for an hour uh, and really get detailed on it. So I'm going to kind of high level it. When you list a property, and the reason I'm going to bring this up first is everything that we talk about next is going to refer to this. When you list a property, I think you ought to be doing the following. Number one, I think you got to run the full battery of inspections before you ever list the property on MLS, and you have to attach that on MLS, or if you're really, really cool, Shelby, you here? Yep, Shelby's here. Thank you, Shelby. Get used to start using Disclosures IO. That's mine. I'm going to do that from now on. I'm going to use Disclosures IO rather than attaching them to the MLS. Okay. Different properties have different things that you should be doing, but at a minimum, you should be doing uh, a full home inspection. You should be doing a pest inspection. You should be doing a roof inspection. If the property is rural and has a septic system, you want to do a septic pump and inspection. If the property is rural and has a well, you want to do a well yield test and potability. Your seller's going to pay for all that. You're going to tell them that they're going to pay for all that. You're going to have that up front. All right. When you get to the point of marketing or pre-marketing rather, everybody does still photos. You're going to do still photos, obviously. They should be done by a professional that does quality work. All right. If you don't have one, let me know. I'll give you a great one. Um, Along with the still photos, I think that you have to do an interior video or interior exterior video. Okay, your media person does a video with music. Uh, I think the video should, again, I'm going to get too detailed. I think the video should pan around a room, go really fast, pan around a room, go really fast, pan around a room, go really fast. Tell your media person that you want the video to be 60 seconds for the whole house. All right, because that's the maximum attention span we're going to get anymore, anyways. So you got to do that. I think you got to do a 3D tour. Matterport is the name that comes to mind. That's the one that I use. I think you got to do a Matterport tour. In addition to that, now Zillow no longer accepts Matterport tours, so I think you got to do a Matterport tour, and then you also have to have your media person do a Zillow 3D tour. Here's where it gets complicated, folks. If your media person isn't set up with Zillow to do Zillow 3D tours, you need a new media person. Okay? It's two separate things now. You got a Matterport tour, you got a Zillow 3D tour. You need both. If you don't run a Zillow 3D tour, you can no longer import your Matterport tour to Zillow, and there will be no 3D tour on Zillow, and that is bad. Okay? You definitely want to have that. Most of the houses that we sell in our markets, I think that you should do some kind of aerial drone tour. All right. Most of the houses that we sell have nice property, or people want to see what's around them, around the subdivision or around the property. I think that you should do an aerial 3D or an aerial drone tour. That's the marketing package. All right. Stay with me. We're going fast. All of that's going to cost you somewhere around $600-700. Okay. It's an investment on your part. It's not cheap. Most of the photographers are raising their prices. It's going to cost you around $600-700. Okay. Talk about price. Okay. Again, I don't want to get into this real deep. Watch the full video in the O1 new agent doc folder, but price is really, really important. Probably more important now than it has been in about 10 years. There's only three reasons a listing doesn't sell. It's price, price, and price. Okay. You really want to do a good job of pricing. You want to be able to communicate why you're pricing or why you feel something should be priced a certain way to a seller. More on that in a minute. You really want to nail the price. Okay. You're going to put all that together, and that's going to be your package. So when an agent or a consumer finds your listing either on one of the portals or on MLS's extension, what they're going to find is this beautifully presented listing. All right. They're going to find access or a link to all of the pre-list reports and disclosures that you've had completed. They're going to get a real good idea of the condition of the property. Okay. It's going to have a price that draws them into action. All right. And you're going to be successful. Let's talk about the most important part that nobody wants to talk about, and that is staging. Okay. 95% of listings should be staged. All right. Even if the people have really nice stuff, they should be staged. They should be staged and set up by a professional. Even if they have great furniture and they're going to use their furniture, the professional might move them. They're going to augment it with artwork and color, okay, and foliage and all these things that most people don't think of, because a really good, true stager understands the science of staging. And the science of staging to work with photography and videography. All right. If you don't get them on Zillow or on Realtor.com or on Real Scout, if you can't stop the scroll, they're not coming. All right. And staging is a huge part of that. Okay. I can show you before and afters. A good quality stager can show you before and afters, and it really does make a difference. It is not cheap. Okay. It's not cheap. And we ask our sellers to pay for that. So you're going to have to understand what the value is, what the increase over the average market price is, what kind of return they're going to get on that investment. You got to be able to understand and articulate all of that. If you're not good at that or you don't have that down pat, you give me a call, you give me a text, we'll talk about it. Okay. If I can't answer your questions, we'll get Heather involved. Heather will be able to give you way more stats and data than you'll be able to do anything with and explain why it's important. and you'll be a lot more successful. The bottom line is this. If you do everything right in the conditions that we've been in, you're going to be successful. If you don't do everything right, you're probably not. And I can't tell you why, okay? I can't tell you why you can't just leave out one or two of those pieces and still be okay. I just know that if you put the whole thing together like that, it's going to work. And if you don't, it's not going to work. Something's going to go wrong. Yeah, go. Brent.
But Damian, I don't have enough money in the bank for staging and for inspections.
Somebody give Brendan the answer. Come on. Okay, I'll give Brendan the. Oh, yep. Who was that? Michael? Give him the answer.
In the refresh program.
Use the NextHome refresh program. Brendan, thanks for reminding me. Don't forget, guys, we have the NextHome refresh program. We can advance sellers $50,000 to use for staging, to use for cleanup, to use for media, whatever they want. They can use it to go stay in a hotel on opening weekend so that you can hold their house open Friday, Saturday, Sunday and not have them there. All right. They have access to that. They can apply for it. They'll have an answer in about 9 minutes. It's no credit hit. All right. Really, really easy to use. Right. Really, really easy to use. Thank you, Brendan, for reminding me about that. Okay. We've talked about the obvious reasons that doing the program is important. It helps with marketing. But let's talk about the less obvious reasons that following the program is so important. Can we all agree that it's been harder to sell a listing lately than it was in 2021? Yes. Nod your head. It's been way harder. Can we all agree that even though we think things are going to be better in 2026 and there's going to be more activity and there's going to be more listings and there's going to be more buyers, that it's not going to be like 2021? Okay. You still got a shot at missing it on the price. You still got a shot at it sitting on market for more than 30 days. You still got a shot at things taking a little bit longer than 7 days with multiple offers. Okay. You still have a shot at having to go and have that conversation about the price reduction. Still going to be a thing in 2026. There's going to be listings that go out that end up getting reduced. Think about that for a minute. I go and I ask you for a price reduction. You're my client. I ask you for a price reduction. I've got kind of whatever average photography. I've got no video. I've got no Matterport. I didn't hold your house open the way I was supposed to hold your house open, right? My marketing looks average at best, and I say I need a reduction. You have ammo to use against me that I didn't do my job, and that's why the house isn't selling, right? If I've done every single thing that there is to do, and I've utilized professionals to have it done, you can't come to me then and say, well, you didn't do your job. You don't need a reduction. You need to work harder. The reason it's not selling is you. No, it's not. We've literally done everything there is to do as far as marketing capability for your house. I've literally done everything there is to do as an agent physically for your house. I held it open 3 days. I put it on broker tour. I bought them all lunch and bribed them with lottery tickets. I did all of those things. And still here we are. Okay. There's only one thing left for us to fiddle with, and that's price. So we can lower the price and see if we can get traction, or we can leave it where it is and continue to hope. Those are our choices. If you don't do the job right up front, if you don't have the package dialed in right up front, that conversation can be extremely difficult. Okay? Avoid that. Avoid the pain. The other non or hard to understand potentially reason that you do this one way and one way only, and that's the right way with all the bells and whistles. Remember our estimation. We figure that when your listing goes live on the MLS and it syndicates to Zillow and it syndicates to Realtor.com and the NextHome syndication grabs it and pumps it out into 800 more websites nationwide, we figure that your listing in the first week gets somewhere between 10 and 30,000 eyeballs on it. Okay. And you're going to throw it on social media. You're going to do all that stuff, right? All that's going to happen. What do you want 10 to 30,000 people to say when they look at your product and say, that's how Damian lists a house? Do you want them to say, when Damian lists a house, he skipped steps. When Damian lists a house, he uses his iPhone to take pictures. When Damian lists a house, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Or do you want them to say, when Damian lists a house, it is perfection? Whether it sells or not, it is perfection. You're telling 30,000 people, this is how I do my job. Okay? Listings are the biggest billboard on the planet, guys. Think about how much time and energy real estate agents in general spend advertising, whether that be postcards or letters, whether that be my face is on a shopping cart, whether that be my face is on the scorecard at the golf course, whether that be, my face is on social media making a reel or talking about this or talking. Think about all the energy that real estate agents put into advertising and promoting their brand. The penetration on that stuff is probably less than 25%, right? It is an absolute crapshoot as to whether or not anybody's going to see that and anybody's going to care. But they will all look at your listing. Ooh, let me see. Ooh, let me watch the video. They will all look at your listing. And that's when you're telling them, this is how I do it. I should do yours too. Don't think of the 600 bucks as marketing expense. Think of the 600 bucks as marketing expense combined with advertising expense. Suddenly it hurts a little bit less. Yeah? Let's talk about the listing appointment. Okay? We know what the house has to look like. We know how we have to market it. Let's talk about the appointment itself. When you have an opportunity to do a listing appointment, and some of this is going to sound really, really silly. All right. So I'm just going to say all of it, and you can say, no, that ain't me. Oh, you're crazy or whatever. But first and foremost, please be early. Okay. Don't show up late. Please be early and surprise them. I'm 10 minutes early. I'm 5 minutes early. Right? You can wait outside if they haven't put the dog out yet or the cat or whatever. You can just, hey, yeah, I'll wait outside, but please be early. Don't ever be late. Okay? Remember what Yoda said? Yoda said to be on time is to be late, to be early is to be on time. Live like Yoda. All right? Number two, please dress the part. Okay? I'm not saying you have to get all suited up, but please dress the part. Um, I like wearing a baseball hat as much as anybody, but I'd never wear a baseball hat to a listing appointment. Okay. I like my comfy t-shirts as much as anybody, but I'm gonna wear a collar when I go to a listing appointment. All right. You're offering or you're telling someone that you should be their agent on the likely the largest financial transaction they've made to date. That's reality. This is likely the largest financial transaction they've made to date. You need to be professional. Please be prepared. Have, the presentation book ready to go. Know the data inside the presentation book in your head so that you can recite it. You don't have to look to the page to talk about it. Have whatever other paraphernalia you're going to have with you. Paraphernalia, I love that word, right? Are you going to drop magnets? Are you going to drop a keychain? Are you going to drop examples of flyers and marketing? What are you going to leave behind? Okay. Please have an agenda and share it with them when you walk in the door. Walk in the door. Nice to meet you. Here's what we're going to go over today. We're going to tour the house. I need to have an understanding of the property. We're going to talk about my program and how I list and market property. We're going to talk about how that's different from my competitors. Okay. We're going to talk about the price, and then we're going to schedule next steps. Let them know what they're in for. All right. Let them know all that should take about an hour and a half. Okay. If it's a big giant house, maybe it's longer. Okay. But set expectations. Let them know what they're in for. Let them know what you're going to cover. All right. It helps you stay on track too. Okay. Please walk the house. All right. They may not ask you, do you want to take a tour? Please walk the house. And when you're walking the house, comment on the positives of the house. Keep the negatives to yourself for now. Comment on all the positives. Let them understand that you understand that they have a nice piece of property and there's value there. All right? Then you can start talking, and you can bring up the challenges later when you're talking. But when you're walking the house, it's all good. Okay? It's all good. Right? Most important, in the era of DocuSign has made more lazy real estate agents than anything on the planet. Please make sure that you bring with you a printed listing agreement and a pen, blue one, preferably. Okay? I think I told you guys my story from last year, right? Maybe it was 2 years ago. I don't know when it was. I will never go to a listing appointment again without two things for sure. The first one is the book, the second one is a listing agreement. All right. If they're saying yes when you're going through your thing, okay, let's do some paperwork. Get it signed while you're there and leave with it signed. All right. This whole business of great, I'm glad we agree. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to send you a DocuSign later. No. Okay. We don't do that. All right. If they're saying yes, you get it signed before you leave, because I've seen crazy things happen in the 2 hours it takes you to get out of there, get back to wherever you're going, get a DocuSign going, and send it electronically. Okay. Do those things. Understand the program, be able to articulate it, be able to articulate why each step of the program is valuable. Okay. I don't want to go through every single bit of it right now because we'd be here for 2 hours. But please, we're coming into the season now. It's going to take about 40 minutes for you to go into the O1 New Agent Docs folder to watch that video. I think it's called How Damian Sells a House. Just watch it, go through it, understand the program all over again. Even if you think you got it down cold, just watch it again. All right. There's going to be tidbits that you missed, and understand it. Get your game on point. Get your appointment game on point. All right. Understand what it is that you want to cover in the appointment. Be able to articulate it in an agenda type format. Understand the presentation and going through the book without having to look at the book. Okay. Be comfortable. Get to a place where you're comfortable. If everything's going positive, that you are able to close. And able to close means, all right, I've got the listing agreement with me. Let's sign this paperwork. Right? Get all that on point. Get all that ready. Be able to handle objections like, oh, let me think about it. Right? Know what to do. If you're not comfortable with any of that, or you've got questions around any of that, or you feel like you need a refresher on any of that, call me, call Brendan. Let's talk about it. Right? Let's get you up to speed. If you ever feel like you've got an appointment coming up and you're just not feeling comfortable, you're just not feeling confident, all right? You need some backup. You want some extra armor. You call me, you call Brendan, we'll go with you. And we will help you through that process. Now, I had an appointment today. And I let the appointment attendee know that that was something that I did, and I give her full disclosure. I'm going to give you full disclosure too. If you want the hard closer, you call me. If you want the one that makes nice and everybody likes, you call Brendan. Okay? Those are your choices. I can't do it any different, and neither can he. All right? It's in there. So make sure you know who you're bringing when you make the call. All right? Make sure you know who you're bringing. Okay. With all that, but Damien, you're full of it because the last listing that, no, maybe not the last one, but one of the most recent listings that I saw you do didn't have staging. There was no video. There were no inspections attached. You didn't do it. The thing was vacant. It was dirty. It was yucky. You didn't do any of it. You're full of it. You're absolutely right. I said 95%. Okay. I fully acknowledge that there are listings that we will take, all of us will take, that you don't want to give the full treatment for a variety of reasons. But the most common one is this, okay? You get a listing, and without going to a whole bunch of detail, it's a rough fixer. All right? You get yourself a rough fixer. Look, you're not going to stage a rough fixer. Okay? It's not going to work, right? You're not going to do a video tour of a rough fixer. You're not going to do a Matterport of a rough fixer. You're not going to do a Zillow 3D tour of a rough fixer. I get it. You're not going to do those things. Okay? It doesn't make sense to do those things because when you've got a rough fixer that's likely cash only, who are you selling it to anyways? Somebody tell me, who's buying that thing?
Flipper.
A flipper, an investor of some kind. They don't care. Okay? What do they care about?
Systems.
Hard systems and the price. That's all they care about. Right? So you have, on a rough fixer, I still may do inspections just to understand the systems. In fact, we've got one coming up. It's a pretty rough fixer. Beautiful location, but it's a pretty rough fixer. We're not going to stage. We're not going to do video. We're not going to do Matterport, but we are going to do a full battery of inspections. We're going to do home, pest, roof. They're all going to be bad. All right. We're going to do well. It's going to be fine. We're going to do septic. Jury's still out. Okay. Because we don't want what with an investor? What don't we want an investor to do? We don't want the investor to put it under contract, bring in their inspectors, shred it, and then come back to us with a request for credit or a request for reduction. So even if your listing doesn't really qualify for the full program, no staging, no special video, no 3D tour, it probably still does qualify to do a battery of inspections on. Because that customer is going to come back and try and beat you up unless you do it. All right. If we disclose up front, the roof's shot, there's 35, 40 grand worth of pest work, the plumbing's no good, and the electrical panel needs to be replaced, they can't come back later and ask us for a credit for that. If we don't disclose that up front, I don't care what you say in a text message, email, or phone call, they're going to do it. It's going to happen. And your client's going to be hot. Okay? Well, I said we were selling it as is. Okay, yeah, I know, but we didn't know what as is meant. You have to be able to describe what the property is when you sell it as is. The only way you do that is with a full battery of inspections. Okay? So the other caution I want to give you is this, the only time I won't do the full program, I mean, it has got to be rough. All right. But Damian, it's dated. Dated doesn't apply. Dated still gets the full treatment. Okay. But Damian, it's small and it's not in the greatest of neighborhoods. Yeah, okay. Full treatment, even more important. The only time that I'm not going to do full treatment, the only time that I'm going to suggest that you don't do full treatment, it needs a bunch of work. It is a true fixer. All right. I'm talking about $200,000 worth of work. Okay. Then probably not appropriate and you'd probably be wasting your money. Okay. Questions? Yeah, man, we went fast. That's cool. Questions? Thoughts? Are you ready? Think about that. Don't answer me. Think about it. Can you run through that whole program of everything and articulate it to a person and tell them why it's valuable? Are you comfortable sitting in front of somebody and having a hard price conversation? Okay. Are you comfortable telling somebody that they have to spend $4,000 on staging and telling them why? Right? If the answer is no, we got to talk. All right. And do it now, guys. Do it now. Let's talk about it now. Let's get you dialed in now so that you're really proficient with all of it now. So that when somebody comes up and says, hey, thinking about selling my house, and your answer is what? I'll be there when? Tomorrow. You're ready. That's the last bit I want to share with you. If somebody gives you an opportunity and wants to talk to you about selling their house, okay, your only answer is you have two choices. I'll see you this afternoon or I'll see you tomorrow. You have to change everything and reschedule everything to make sure that you can be there the next day. If you don't believe that that's how I do it, ask the person I live with. Okay? They will absolutely tell you. It does not matter what is going on. Somebody says, thinking about listing my house. See you in the morning. Tomorrow. I'll be there tomorrow. If you don't do that, guys, someone else will. I promise you. It's a foot race. And if you can get in the door first and you can present your program and why you do what you do and how you do and why it's important, and you have the document with you, it's getting done. Okay. If you don't, you're giving someone else the opportunity, like me, to come in and do it instead. Okay. That's the crummy part of real estate. It sucks, but it's just the way it goes. All right. 36. Good. We cruised. What do you got? Questions, thoughts, arguments? Tell me I'm full of crap. Is Alan here? No, Alan's not here, so nobody's going to tell me I'm full of crap. That's good. And give me what you got, or I'll get you out of here. Come on, drinking soda. Must be one of those days.
I'd like to say to everyone that the name of the game is getting in the door. Get the appointment, get in the door. That's everything. Once you're in front of them, you can do your presentation and you have a much higher percentage of getting the listing. But your main goal is to get the appointment to go to their house and talk to them in person.
Yeah, huge point, Brendan. Thank you. You got to just fight like heck and do whatever you have to do to get the appointment. I think that's the hardest part. Once you have the appointment, once you're in there and you're practice on the rest of it, I think the rest is fairly easy. But getting there and setting that first appointment, that's the hard part. Sure. Anybody else? No? All right. Go out and enjoy this sunshine. I'm told it's not going to be. Is it sunny down there, Brent, or is it foggy?
Sunny right now. It was foggy this morning.
All right. All right. Get out and enjoy it. You guys know where to find us. Other than that, I'm going to click the button in 5 seconds unless I hear from somebody. Ready? 5, 4, go watch the video. Oh 01 New Agent Docs, How Damian Sells a House. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll see y'all later.